Good morning, everyone. In honor of your time, I'd like to get going, even though I know that there are likely more people who will get online as we speak. But let's get started. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you, wherever you are in the world. My name is Andrea Zenz, and I'm one of several product managers at Standard Imaging. On behalf of myself and my colleagues attending PIPSpro show at the moment, we would like to welcome you and thank you for attending our webinar series. Just a note that this webinar is being recorded and will be available for viewing on our website shortly. Attendees are in listen-only mode, but you are encouraged to type questions you might have into the question box on our webinar console, and we will try and get to as many of those as possible at the end of the talk. First of all, a little bit of information about Standard Imaging. We are based in Middleton, Wisconsin, and we were founded in 1989. In case you don't know us, but I'm sure many of you do because we have lots of products out in the world, we design and manufacture a full suite of QA products for radiation therapy and are pleased to partner with you now and in the future to make sure we meet your QA needs. So a little bit about me. Because we don't get to see each other face to face, but I think in this global pandemic, it's a good time to connect and reconnect with people. This is me. This is the person talking to you today. I am the mother of three wonderful young adults, all of them voting this year, a longtime Standard Imaging employee, currently as a product manager for not only QA pilot portion of QA Fusion, which I'm talking about today, but as well our stereotactic phantoms and our QA stereo checker machine QA, as well as our brachytherapy solutions. And outside of work and family, my passion is building kaleidoscopes and making jewelry from a variety of materials. I like to hunt those down at flea markets and so on. Currently, due to COVID, I am working at home. My art room is my office. So, like I said, today we're here to talk about QA Fusion. This is one of two webinars we will be doing on the topic. I will be covering QA Pilot, which is a fast, easy, smart QA management solution for you, whether you are an individual clinic or a individual clinic, or whether you're a full-size network. So, in the daily life of a physicist, as you are well aware, there is an incredible amount of stuff that needs to get done. You manage people, you manage processes, you perform QA, review QA, you make sure that you're up to date on regulations, prepare and manage your audits and accreditations, patient QA and chart rounds, as I said, a vast multitude of things. So QA Pilot really is here as to make your management of your facility much easier. We do that by helping you gain some efficiencies by streamlining communication and standardizing operations to fit your needs. Security, we use secure Amazon Web Services for data storage, which is mega encryption and very secure way to host data in the cloud. We make sure and we help you make sure that you can demonstrate your compliance with recommendations and regulations by putting your data and your documents at your fingertips. We make sure that you have accountability. Again, something that in this day of working from home for a lot of people, we help make oversight and review effortless with dashboard summaries, email alerts, trending and reporting. And we're vendor neutral, which really does mean that we not only are LINAC neutral, but also device manufacturer neutral. We support not only standard imaging devices on the platform, but as well some of our competitors' products as well. Because we understand that you may have a variety of tools that you've already invested in, and it's hard to tell somebody to dump all of that and go with standard imaging only, even though at my heart I would highly recommend that anyway. So QA Pilot, as part of QA Fusion, like I mentioned, it's web-based software. It's software as a service. And what does that actually mean for your facility? Well, it means lower entry costs because you're not making a large capital investment in a software product that then has annual maintenance charges on top of it. It is priced per room, whether that be for a LINAC, HDR, CT. There are lower maintenance costs because you don't have to have expensive software to install. Updates are automatic because it's a web-based application. That means we're bringing improvements in the product to you at a much quicker pace. There are lower hardware costs. You're not investing in laptops or computers with advanced graphics or calculational abilities. Scalability, we expand as you expand. If you're adding an additional LINAC, we provide you with a new LINAC license. If you're adding centers to your network, of course, we're there to help you do that as well. And really, we have a focus on how do we help our customers do better, be better in their departments and improve patient care overall, which means we want to improve operational performance. We do that by streamlining your costs, improving communications, making sure everything's HIPAA compliant, and available at your fingertips anywhere you have web access. So, as I mentioned, these days we're working remotely, which means we want to keep working efficiently, and QA Pilot, it plays a big part in making that happen for you. We make sure that you are able, again, anywhere you have a web access, to analyze, review, and approve QA, oversee what's going on at your multiple machines, Linux, QA schedules, are they done on time? We facilitate sharing of documents, updated procedures, things like that. I'll show that to you. You're tracking your machine and QA device logs. If there's any service issues or general, planned maintenance and those types of things, you're making sure that those are done in a timely manner. We can help you improve on patient safety with incidence learning and tracking for process improvement. And we, of course, have the reports at your fingertips as well as documentation for you to prepare and manage accreditation and audits, which, again, many of them, if not all of them, are being done online these days, and you want a tool that's going to make that easy for you to do. So, with that was a broad overview of QA Pilot, and what do we mean by QA Fusion? Well, it is really the idea of seamless integration of QA data from products like PIPSpro, which is for TG142 Imager Machine QA, which you'll be hearing about this afternoon, into a QA management platform in order to simplify scheduling, oversight, and communication, as I indicated. So when we're talking about QA Fusion for complete integrated solutions, it's how do you manage devices? Your daily device, QA Beam Checker Plus, should it be that? Your water tank data for TG51, using electrometers, ion chambers, scheduling, again, calibrations, and intercomparisons and those types of things. Of course, with our complete integrated solutions, it's about bringing the performing of QA under one roof. So we've added TG51 worksheets in here. We have preset and customizable templates for you to use. And our custom tests, we've added calculational abilities like calculating averages, deviations, ratios, and so on. And of course, it's all about the integration of your results for your daily, monthly imager QA, and more as we go on. So what does QA Pilot do for you? Well, from that initial list that I showed you, it really is pretty much everything from the management of, involved in the management of your department. We don't currently cover patient QA, but we have incredibly great solutions for that as well. Contact us for more information about those things. So really, often what turns, what feels like a lot of jumbled tasks and data, QA Pilot's going to really help you gain organizational clarity with QA Fusion managed with QA Pilot. So now let's go into the software itself. So in order to do that, we will get out of that and we will oh, come on. Close out of that and go over here to QA Pilot. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of dashboards and organizational tools that are really important to you. Everything here, so this is, I'm logged in as a physicist. I see what I care about. A therapist would have a different view. A guest, for example, so an auditor would be able to see reports and documents. This menu over here on the left is organized in a manner of what you do most frequently. We'll very quickly look at schedules, reports, and then the management section of this as physicists, this is what you certainly care about. And then we'll talk more about the things that help you with process improvement, departmental management, and communication. That really is helpful and helps you explain to administration why this is a useful tool for you to have in your organization. So everywhere within the software, we have a variety of dashboards, which you can collapse or you can expand. So I see that these are the centers that I'm responsible for, and then I can delve in what is going on, what may be overdue. From here, I can perform, I can look at reports, and I can look at trending for various things, right from that homepage dashboard, if you will. In addition to that, actually, we'll go over to review. As a physicist, you may not, of course, be the person performing all of the QA, but it can be, when it is performed, it is there for you to be able to review as long as you're logged in with the correct credentials. To do so, this is a list of reports as well as what is listed under machine logs. This is a little bit deceptive because it doesn't necessarily have to be only about your LINAC or your HDR afterloader. It can also apply to any devices that you're utilizing to perform your QA or LINAC accessories, but it lets you see what's outstanding and go into anything from here to look at it and see what's going on. You see the status, whether it passed, whether it didn't pass. I mentioned that we have worksheets for TG51, for example. Let's pop into one so you can see what that looks like. Everything that's been performed is summarized here. Equipment that you've utilized for it. In this, will pull from what is applied, from the dashboard of equipment that is maintained within the system for this particular LINAC, this particular center, what is available, what can I use, and ultimately work through getting your readings, record them, what is your calculated dose, and if an adjustment is required because this result is unsatisfactory, you can do those adjustments at your LINAC and retake your measurement to double check. There's always a back button, which is a lovely, wonderful thing to use. The other thing that so you can review from here, and then we can also go in and look at reports. All reports that have been run in, all QA that's been run is stored in reports. You can certainly sort, which is a wonderful thing, again, by center, by machine, by type of schedule. These are important for you to be able to narrow in on what you care most about. Another thing that we have sort of is the integration, like I mentioned, with our PIPSpro software. This is what the QA Fusion first step is all about. So we've performed QA and we've uploaded our PIPSpro reports right in here so that when an auditor comes in, you don't need to send them over to look at, open any spreadsheets or look at anything else. Here, we are able to actually render the report from another QA system or product right in here so that an auditor or yourself or anybody that needs to can get the full data of what's going on, not just simply pass-fail results, but look at the full complete image and the results from various tests that are performed. And that is for all types of QA that we have that we bring in from our PIPSpro dashboard. So as a physicist, of course, what you care about is how did I get all of these things set up? It's great that you see that there are schedules there and there are reports. Well, of course, all of these things need to be configured and built into QA Pilot are a lot of tools that make that very simple for you to do. Again, like I said, every area has its own dashboard. What are the centers I'm responsible for? What is the equipment listed there? What I may need to edit is in here. One of the things that we've done as well is we've simplified the area setup so that you're putting in your energies right here. If you have any reports to attach to this document you want to attach concerning your LINAC, you can also do that there. This information is, of course, important for performing your TG51. We do it under the machines, one and done, good to go. Also for your equipment, again, you get a dashboard, which is of course sortable. So if I want to just narrow in on what's going on at one location, do I have anything that's due under the next event? If I've got an intercomparison or I've got a recalibration, any type of thing like that, you can enter here as a task and it appears in your dashboard. Again, this is, collapsible, sortable according to what you need. Very easy to go in and edit equipment should you need to. And we only collect, sort of basic information that's necessary for you to perform the QA that you needed. Are you going to use this chamber, for example, for TG51, in which case we need some additional information about this particular detector in order to utilize it for that. The heart of the software and where QA Pilot really started was all about having templates available for customers to use and create custom tests, but not start completely from scratch. So we have a variety, you'll notice down here at the bottom of the screen, several preset templates. These can be viewed and they can be copied, but these are not editable by the user. And these are to get you a starting point. You can take a review of what tests are included in here. So where did those come from? This is just a small selection of the tests we have available. But when you go into, we'll just pretend we're going to modify one that we already have. What pops up for you if you're not using one of the preset templates is on the left, you have all the tests as described out or in the tables of TG142. So for your daily LINAC, that's quite the variety. But we provide all of that to you here. They're already listed, already set up. And then as you select items, they are moved over here to the right. This is the template that I currently have. Anything new that I might want to add will be added very quickly to the bottom of this, and then you organize it into the workflow of your department. Our software does not dictate to you that you must follow this particular workflow. If it doesn't work for you, you remove tests, add tests, and then rearrange them in the order of your actual clinical workflow. So for example, if I wanted to choose a full set of tests, notice clicking on the gray would automatically select everything in that section. If I wanted to just take one, I have now selected it just by one click. It's added here at the bottom. So if I want to do my X-ray output and I don't want it to be last in the day, that's actually something I do first in the day. Well, I want to move that on up so that I can perform it in a different manner, in a different order than what is prescribed simply by selecting them. Something that's very easy to use. Some of the wonderful things that we've done with custom tests. If I didn't save that information, you'd have to save it if you actually wanted to keep it, by the way. Some of the things that we've done, I'm going to go down here to lasers because that's my little playground. We have created a bunch of tests already, and one of the wonderful things here is when you're managing those tests or you create a custom test, you can also preview it to see how that's going to appear in your template, which you would schedule to be performed. And you'll, as you're creating these, then you know what to expect and how it's going to work before you actually add it to a template. So we have added some functionality for you to be able to do some averages. So in this case, we set up something to test Hounsfield units across a variety of regions of interest. And at the end, it's going to take those measurements or those inputs and average that out for you. You can also do a ratio test, and these may not be clinically relevant to you, but this is, again, my playground to say what that is. For example, I may be using my Supermax electrometer, which is 2-channel. You can actually ratio rate on the device, but in case you don't have the nice flexibility with Supermax, you're using something else, you may want to compare channel readings 1 to a channel 2 reading and get a ratio test or get a ratio of those two. That's another thing that you can do. You can also create tests that have a common denominator for your various regions, and see the differences then and do comparisons using a common denominator. So those are some really cool things that we very easily built into custom tests. Another thing that I will show you just because it's very easy, if I want to manage a test, we have a variety of ways that you can do that. Pass, fail, you can give them any label you want. They don't necessarily have to be pass or fail. It could be open or closed, or it could be intermittent. It could be whatever it is you want to do. Some of the things that are really nice is if you want to create a file attachment to something. I'm not going to, or if you want to add text, you can change the different types that you have here. You can also decide whether it's energy dependent types of tests. So great things that can go on in here. And as you add these custom tests, they actually become available in that template creation. So if I created something new, it would appear here at the bottom again, or within, in lasers, I have created all those custom tests. They're only created once, but then they are available to you. And they're available then if you want to share them with other sites, you can do that as well. We keep it as simple as possible. So that's a little bit about test creation, scheduling. Performing your QA is done in the schedules, review and reports. Well, what are we doing when we talk about integration of data, bringing in data, making it easy to communicate with your department, and things like that? Well, let's start over here in the documents section. So these are some of the tools that are very nice and easily laid out in QA Pilot that really do allow you to communicate with your teams, with your departments, keep everybody up to speed, even if you're not able to gather around the water cooler in a conference room at the moment. So one of those ways we do that is our document section. You can upload any type of document here. It can be an image, it can be a procedure, it can be a PDF, it can be a Word document. It can be any type of thing that you need. A lot of locations are using these to keep track of their policies and procedures. If I've updated a procedure, like I'm on version 2 here, I need to share that with my team. And which means that we can require sign-offs for any type of document that you upload here to ensure that you're communicating to the team, what's new and available, and give them a due date. You can assign by role, you can assign by site, you can give a sign-off date, And that way you're keeping track and keeping up to snuff with what people are doing. Are they using the current recommended procedure, or a worksheet, or other types of things that you may have that people need to use? And as I mentioned earlier, this is something that there is a guest login that's allowed with QA Pilot, which means that if an auditor wants to look at things, you again can get anything that may not be already in QA Pilot, or created as a report in QA Pilot. You can make sure they're uploaded for a specific date range or a specific anything that they're looking for. And a guest login, again, can only access reports and documents. Another tool that you have, I don't really have a lot of data in here, but for any sites with Linux that share templates or that are using the same tests that are available, as long as they're using the same type of test, you can, and I don't have any data, sorry about that, but you can actually go in and get some statistical information about what's going on for your group altogether, whether mean, median, max, minimum values on different portions of different tests that you may have. And that is an important thing for you to be able to have in case you're like, well, I'm overviewing all of these, and for some reason, this particular LINAC seems to have a potential issue. How does it compare to my other TrueBeam machines or my Electa Versa HD machine? Those things are important for you to do. Another one of those is machine log. And as I mentioned, it's actually probably a little easier in here. If we go into the machine log section, you'll notice here that this is set up not just for my Varian rep, but it's also set up for standard imaging because I own a Beam Checker Plus, and should anything happen with my daily device or I just have a general support question, I've already got my contact information in here in QA Pilot. I don't need to go looking anywhere. I've got it at hand. You can put in emails, phone numbers, their account numbers. These are really good things to have. When we say room equipment, you can also look at whether it's assigned to a particular center or a particular LINAC within a location. It may matter because you may have a question about ARIA, which is a system-wide application, but then again, you may have, it'll apply to all your LINACs within your group that have that. But, my Beam Checker, I have a Beam Checker for each of my LINACs because that's just easier as a daily device. And so I want to look at the information that's related to just that. We allow you to create extra types of categories for things, and here we added OSMS. You can add custom fields. I added one that called Beam Checker Service Tracking. These are all things that will then appear in the machine log when you're entering it. And you can also add custom statuses. We have open resolved. I added in process because, again, as you're checking in on a daily or every other day basis, you want to see what the actual status is, and you may have to update those things along the way should it be something that's taking longer than anticipated, or it's out for recal for 10 days. Maybe you want to make sure that at 12 days you're checking in on that. So whatever you've created here will be in that machine log where you can enter that information. And if your machine is down, machine could also be a device, you can say yes. And if you do, you can also track the amount of downtime that you have. You can attach documents here, and you can fully describe that. And then what's really nice like I said, when you're going in and you're doing your daily review, you're looking at your machine log occurrences. This is one particular one, but I can also check what existing logs we've had in the past. And following this may give you an indication. I'm having more and more problems with this particular device. Obviously, we need to potentially budget for a replacement because, after all, it is a 10-year-old piece of equipment, or this is happening too frequently. I need to talk to my LINAC vendor about, does something need to be replaced, not just serviced. It's also important, something very similar to that is the incidence learning. I'm always about process improvement and making sure we're doing better all the time. And this is a place where you get to log those potential errors, but that didn't impact a patient. And you can, again, view the incident list. Don't know if I've got much in here. View the incidents list. Say you meet as a group, departmental group or committee that goes over this once a quarter. Does something show up 6 times in a quarter? Well, we need to improve our process. Obviously, it's not working. You can come up with what you plan to do to improve the process. You can document that in our document section. Make sure people are assigned to sign off and recognize that there is an update to a procedure. And then the next quarter you review again and go, okay, great, we reduced it from 6 down to just 2 of these incidences. It looks like we're on track, we're improving. Or the inverse, nope, we had the same thing happen again 6 times. We need to address this in more stringent terms and then determine what that is. So those are things that I think are really helpful, like I said, in this time where we're sort of separated from each other, want to be able to keep in good communication, have good oversight of your centers, your Linux, what's going on, and making sure that everybody's on the same page and things are working well for you. So with that, I'll just pop back over to here. That will basically conclude my presentation for today. However, I invite you to join this afternoon. I'm going to give you a moment to type in any questions that you might have and invite you to come see more about Imager, truly quantitative Imager and machine QA with our PIPSpro software. And also invite you, we have more webinars in this week for this Astro series. So please do check those out, register and attend those as time permits. As long as you register for them, you will get the recording and the recording will be made available on our website. If you want to delve into the details of QA Fusion and QA Pilot and what that can really mean for your from your single clinic to your network-wide solution, please reach out to sales. You can also reach out to me and we can schedule a more in-depth demonstration for you. So with that, I'm just going to take a quick peek to see if there are any questions. Yes, there is one here about Sun Nuclear Profiler. Yes, we do. We do that by parsing the data, either of their JSON files or PDF. So we do support that, and in a more in-depth demo, I would be happy to show you how that works. That seems to be the only question I have here. So with that, I'm going to say thank you very much for attending. Appreciate your time, value it immensely. I hope you enjoy Astro if you're attending that meeting. And whether you are or not, I wish you all a very good rest of your day, no matter how much of it is left for you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.